Between June of 1921 and June of 1934, the U.S. completed no destroyers, instead focusing on cruisers and carriers. When it did with the commissioning of the 1,360-ton Farraguts, it did so in a big way. At the time of their commissioning, they were arguably the best destroyers anywhere in the world. They had many technical advances over not only the now aging flush decks, but also over many foreign ships of their type. Compared to the older flush deck destroyers, they had a raised forward deck to help keep the main guns dry, and new high-pressure boilers increased speed and range. A new stern design gave them a better turning radius, and habitability was vastly improved. The Farragut was started September 20th, 1932, and finished June 18th, 1934. Dewey was started December 16th, 1932, and finished December 4th, 1934. Hull was started March 7th, 1933, and finished January 11th, 1935. McDonough was started May 15th, 1933, and finished March 15th, 1935. Worden was started December 29th, 1932, and finished January 15th, 1935. Dale was started February 10th, 1934, and finished June 17th, 1935. Monaghan was started November 21st, 1933, and finished April 19th, 1935. Alwyn was started September 23rd, 1933, and finished March 1st, 1935. Main armament was initially 5 of the new 5-inch 38 caliber dual-purpose guns in 5 single mounts, 2 forward, 1 midship, and 2 at the rear. To conserve weight, which was still limited by the London Treaty, the forward guns were in open-backed turrets, while the midship and rear guns were in open mounts. Midship, behind turret 3, they had 2 quadruple torpedo tubes on the center line. This allowed them to fire all 8 of their 21-inch torpedoes off either side. Finally, while the first 2 initially lacked them, by World War II, all 8 ships had 2 depth charge racks at the stern. Power was provided by 4 boilers venting to 2 funnels that generated 42,800 horsepower to 2 shafts, driving the ships up to 37 knots. Along with the usual increase in radar, sonar, and light anti-aircraft during the war, in 1943, with the threat of air attack growing, the midship 5-inch gun was replaced with 2 twin 40mm medium anti-aircraft guns. All were at Pearl Harbor when Japan attacked. This class was well represented at the battles of the Coral Sea, Midway, and the Eastern Solomons. At the beginning of 1943, all transferred to the Aleutians and covered the U.S.'s liberation of the islands from the Japanese for the first 3 quarters of the year. On January 12, 1943, Worden grounded in the Aleutians and had to be abandoned as the ship broke apart. Dale and Monaghan took part in the March 1943 Battle of Komandorski Island. Returned to the Central Pacific in the 4th quarter of 1943, they spent the rest of the war escorting carriers, protecting supply ships, and providing fire support. On December 11, 1944, the fleet sailed into Typhoon Cobra, where Monaghan and Hull capsized and sunk. The remaining ships were decommissioned at the end of the war and sold for scrap.